Hello everybody. Welcome to the MetPlus client meeting. We're here with Chet, our client, and also Vijaya, Salim, Patrick, and me. Uh, so let us start with our. So I made a little agenda, more or less the same as the last time we met, and we're going to start with a little bit of a retrospective of this last sprint. We have some questions that we'd like to ask. Then we're going to pass the ball to Chet to see if he has any questions. And in the end, we're going to talk about the next steps. And so that's it. Basically, in the previous week, we've been doing some work. We have always some things on progress. We decided to give a step back because of some of the requirements that we talked about during the last weeks. We decided to give a step back and recreate our the database model and everything, because there were some things that were not 100% correct. So we just more or less started with more or less clean slate, and we're doing that. So we already have done some things, but unfortunately we don't have anything that is visible to show any change, because we're working in the bottom layer of the application. I am hoping that next week we can be again where we were in the beginning, with a login screen, with a registration screen that allows to look into the application itself. So basically, this is more or less what happened in the last weeks. No. So any question? Anything? Yep. Okay, let me just. Okay. So basically, we have some questions that we during the last 2 weeks we stumble upon, and basically one of them is related to the employer. And the question is this: can an employer search for a job seeker in the system and contact them? If so, should pets keep track of any contacts? So what we want to understand with this point is if the employer itself can work more or less like a job developer. That's more or less the idea, and the question itself is because currently the job developer can just search for the users and search for the job seekers and match them with jobs and everything. But if we have the entity of the employer, if we have an employer that is in the system, will they be allowed to search for job seekers?
Okay, so if a job seeker is able to, a random job seeker is able to upload their profile, create their own profile through the PET system. I don't know if we spoke of that. If you guys are creating it where software can do that as well, then maybe employers should be able to search as well. So that's just, say for instance, like this a person that's not affiliated with any agency, they just went on our website or completed a profile. But if they are affiliated with an agency, the job seeker, then it still should send a signal back to that agency or job developer to let them know that they're processing. So that an employer actually reached out to one of their clients, they're processing. So basically, the system is keeping track. So does that make sense, or
So,
two different ways?
there is a question there in the middle that I'm not quite sure. That I believe you talked last week. Is that was the employer itself cannot be non-associated with an agency, right? Let me rephrase this. the the employer needs to be associated with an agency always,
Okay.
right?
Okay. We discussed that, and I think Patrick added on to that, or either you did last time we spoke. Um, they're supposed to be affiliated with an agency, but if an employer can just search for job seekers, then maybe we can um, have it to where like a random person can just create a profile and reach out to them. That's one way. And the second way is if an employer reaches out to a job seeker that's in the system, it automatically sends a signal back to that agency, the job developer. Or it automatically puts them inside their processing pool in both the agency side and the employer side. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it can be two ways that we can go about it. So go ahead, Patrick. You got something
Yeah,
to say?
Jed, I think our notes from last week, I think that we asked this question or something similar, and you stated that an employer can search for suitable candidates in the PETS database, but the employer couldn't contact the candidate directly, the job seeker directly. They'd have to go through the job developer associated with a job seeker.
And
You
you know
didn't
what?
want them acting as job developers, is the sense we got.
Well, you know what? If sometimes what we don't want to do is put the pressure on anybody. The workload too much on anybody, whether they're an employer, case manager, job developer.
Mm-hmm.
So an employer being able to search as well, I guess that would be okay if they have the time to do it. You know, and as long as they're searching for a job seeker that's in the system, as soon as they reach out to them, they're putting them inside their client pool for processing, and it
Mm-hmm.
automatically goes into the job developer's pool. You know what I mean? So we want to make it as free as possible. Because sometimes employers, I don't know if you guys recognize it, but sometimes employers like reaching out to job seekers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we can either have it, the job developer can reach out to the employer, or the employer can just like, hey, if I really need that job seeker, I'm an employer. The job developer may not be there right away or something like that, or you know what I mean. So sometimes they can take it in. They can take that step and reach out to them, and if they accept or something, then it'll go right into their processing pool on both screens. So or do you think that'll be too much?
No, it doesn't sound to me like it'd be too much. So, the employer could see a job seeker say, "Hey, I like this person. I'd like to talk to them." He indicates that in the system somehow.
Right.
The job seeker gets notified that, "Hey, this employer is interested in you," and the job developer associated with the job seeker also gets alerted to that.
Yes.
Is that essentially what you think? Okay.
Yes, the job developer will be notified automatically. It'll be in the processing part of the user interface,
Mm-hmm.
client pool, or however that I worded it at the time.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. No problem with that.
So,
So basically that's it. But there's the other question. It's about the agency. Um, can we assume that at least in the first version, an employer needs to be associated with an agency? So you will not be able to have employers that just register in the website and search for everything.
I guess you can do this. Give me 1 second. I got my daughter right here.
Okay. See less. So basically it's this, right? I'm not mistaken. Let's search for a job seeker, but
Okay.
a job developer. Okay. So
back.
okay. The question was, can we assume that in the first version, everybody needs to be associated with an agency? Job seekers and employers need to be associated with one agency. Is it okay with you?
That's we originally discussed that, but you guys, it's kind of like making me think of other ways. Like we just discussed, maybe a person that's not affiliated can just go to a website and create a profile, and that gives the employer um, a bigger database to find job seekers. Or if that's the thing, purpose, then they would leave that out. It's just a thought. I'm thinking about it right now. So I'm trying to think like maybe they can reach out to others, but they're still in the system. So,
but the question is after. Let me think. The problem here is that if we have like let's call it a landing page for each agency, you will not have a place or a landing page for someone to go to that is not associated with any agency. So let's imagine you'll have a MetPlus landing page, but there will be no pets landing page. Do you understand what I say with landing page?
Landing page.
So basically, when you try to, when we thought about this, what we thought was that there would be no option for a random person. When I say person, it's a job seeker or an employer, to be able to access PET system from an agency-less perspective.
But you're right. You're right about that. Yeah.
So thinking about this, let's imagine you will not have a pets web page because the pets it's the system, but you'll have a MetPlus page where you enter, you can see the jobs there. You'll have I don't know, another agency page, so it will be divided by agencies.
Okay, you know what? You're right. If I was to open it up to random people, then it would be, I guess it would defeat the purpose of being able to track people and, things like that. So I guess we want to keep it closed in, so within the agency. That was
what we can do, it's in the future release, not in the first version. What we can do, we can try to share the job seekers and the employers through multiple agencies. So you connect through an agency and you allow that person to connect as well with another agency on the website without having to fill again all the registration and everything. But we can think about that in a future version, and then we can open also the search for employers to everyone, to all the job seekers in all the agencies they are affiliated with and everything. Are you okay with that?
I guess it's not bad because it's still under the pets umbrella. Mm-hmm. So they can either focus on that one agency or they can just open it up. Yes, we don't want to block employers from finding good job seekers.
No, not just. We can. For now, we can just have like in the first version like a proof of concept, I believe the proof of concept will be something like MetPlus, and you'll have just one agency inside the service, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And the second version of this will allow an employer to be able to go to be part or to be affiliated with multiple agencies and can search job seekers from those agencies as well.
Okay.
We can go through starting with a narrow path, and then we can widen the path as we go if we see it's a good solution or not. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't agree with me, you tell me. Okay. If you think you should go all open, it's your decision because you're the client.
Well, each agency being affiliated with an employer. I mean, I guess it's good when you open it up. You know, give them that option. Um, I think we discussed this. I think like 2 meetings ago. Patrick, do you remember that? I think we discussed this as far as either just dealing with one employer or multiple agencies if they wanted to search the database.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
and
We did. Yep.
The idea we got from this is that we would have one agency you'll have an employer, and that employer belongs to that agency, and that was it. That was the initial thought, and then we thought that it might eventually in the future could create, if we could replicate the job seekers from one agency to the other to make it simpler. I believe it was this that we talked about. Am I right, Patrick?
Yeah. So, Chad, I think initially, as you said, we're going to be focusing on building a system for a single agency, your agency, because it's going to be basically a contact and tracking management system for agency people, such as yourself. And then what happens after we talk to you, we start talking amongst ourselves and say, well, that's really agency-centric viewpoint. What about a job seeker? If I'm a job seeker, I'd like to enter my resume once and have 15 agencies get a hold of the resume and start working it on my behalf. And similarly for an employer doesn't want to have to open an account with 15 different agencies. If you ever got to that point with an umbrella, we thought, well, we'll take that single agency system and we'll put like an Uber agency on top of it to manage job seekers interacting once with a big system that involves multiple agencies underneath, and similarly for employers. But that's downstream. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That way, more people, their resume is out there more.
Yeah.
You have more people working for them. I guess the goal is to get them employment. That's the goal.
Yeah, and I think our initial focus is to build basically, I think of this as an agency management system. Not agencies, but agencies. So people at an agency can manage their business of brokering between job seekers and employees and keep track with contacts and alerts and all other things, what's going on, and help manage and be efficient. It's a very agency-centric point of view, but I think that's the first thing we need to build, in my opinion. Then we can add on the abilities for job seeker and employer that makes it easier for them to interact with multiple agencies downstream. Do I have that wrong? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me it's like we need to keep the focus on a single agency and what people in that one agency conceptually need to do to manage their activities.
You hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there?
Yeah, it's like my computer or you guys are frozen.
Oh, we are?
Even my picture's frozen. Okay, I'm starting to move a little bit on there. So let's please this umbrella, but to go back because you kind of froze up while there. We're going to have each agency, right? Each individual agency is going to be able to track their clients, correct? Hello?
Yeah, you broke up a bit there.
Yes, I think you said that each agency will be able to track their own clients.
Like,
Was that what you asked?
yeah, even though I created the pets or designed the pets or started it, MetPlus, I don't want to see their personal information, if that makes sense. Remember we discussed that things on there, so I don't want them to feel rooting, you know, by them being under my umbrella. Am I still froze?
A little bit. You cut a little bit there.
Is it my computer or is it just what's
I
going
don't
on?
know.
It's probably the internet between us,
Yeah.
congestion.
Okay.
So what you were saying about the umbrella, you don't want the information to be shared between agencies?
Well, we want the information to be shared. Remember, you said something about this is probably I don't know in the beginning meeting about pertinent information. Um, some agencies won't be able to see the other agency pertinent information of their job seeker.
Mhm.
Is that what we discussed, or try not to?
I believe we've been through multiple steps of this already. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I believe at least the idea that I started with was very job seeker centric, and with time, I believe what we talked about was a much more agency centric system. So basically, the agency is the center of all the contacts and the central point of everything, the broker. Um, as we said when we talked about this Uber agency, I don't remember very well, but you'll not the only thing that we were not sure about is that should you be able why would you be able to search a job seeker that is not in your agency?
Okay. Because this this internet is terrible today, I guess.
Mm.
All right. So I guess that's the main question. Um, should okay, be able to search a job seeker that's not within that agency?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to search another agency? Well, if I have a different company, if I'm company A, you're company B, we don't have any ties. Um, you know, and remember, Patrick, we discussed about you kind of know your clients, you kind of, personal. You know their strengths and their weakness. So I guess that's the point of having an agency. So that agency um, may just want to um, be able to maintain their clients. Or if another agency reached out to their client, then it should notify the agency. But just to let you know, agencies get paid for when they get clients hired. So if they get 100 people hired, the state of Michigan may pay them, X amount of dollars because they're doing their job. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like me reaching over and getting somebody else clients steady hired, then I'm kind of like taking from their pot.
Yeah.
And it may cause a conflict or something like that. You know what I mean? You understand, Virginia?
Yes, I think so. So basically, we can say this, that you're a job developer can only search inside your agency. But as an employer, you can search all job seekers. Is that it?
Okay. Agency lets employer JD can only search inside. Search inside your agency. Yeah, only inside your agency.
And the employer can search all the job seekers?
Yes, that sounds better. It's less confusing, and the internet didn't mess up. So yeah.
And the job seeker can search all employers.
Correct. Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay. But can we make a restriction of an employer You think we can make this restriction? And the same for the job seeker?
Employer needs to be associated with at least one agency to enter the system. Yes.
Yes. And the same for job seeker?
Yes, they got to be associated with at least one agency.
And here, this. Okay, so I think we can agree with more or less with all these restrictions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can move on with this question, or do you want to there's any more questions from our side? Patrick, Vijay, Salim?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So let us. We are going to look into this, and then we can talk about this question maybe in the next meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Because of the tracking and everything, we need to think a little bit about who is going to be contacted or not.
Okay.
So let's move on. So the agencies and the branches of the agencies. We'd like to understand, because when we talked the last time, you said that the agency can have multiple branches, and the job developer and a case manager need to be associated with a specific branch.
Yes.
Okay, so our question here is to understand if, let's imagine, if you're in the branch of Detroit of an agency, you can. What are your restrictions? You can only search for people that is from Detroit, or it's just or this will just work like the location of the person of the job developer.
Well, from my experience, case managers just focus on their location, because that's where the agents, the clients come into that location.
Mm-hmm.
And they will see many people, but they will just come to that location. So maybe they should just be on searching that location, because that's where they're stationed. So if they were to go to another location, thinking maybe it should stay the same. So it should be tied to locations.
Okay, so you want the case manager, and the case manager will only be able to handle people that live in the same area, right? And
I can't.
as well?
your microphone.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. So the case manager will only handle cases from the same location. And the job developer, what happens?
Yes.
Does he only handle cases from the same location? So let's imagine someone from Detroit will only be able to to connect an employer and a job seeker from that location.
Yes, because remember, this is just a software, but remember, it's other things that go on within the agency in there. You know, it may be classes inside that building. It may be seminars and things like that. So them staying within that same building, that would be better. That would be best. You know? So they won't be everywhere. Um, remember, the software just pretty much is showing a little bit what happens with it. So more happens behind the scenes when dealing with clients. But definitely, job developers and case managers just deal with the clients that come in that building or that location. That's
And
right.
client, sorry, Chad, is client, when you say client, are you talking about a job seeker or an employer?
I'm sorry, job seeker.
Job seeker.
So that's registered with that branch. Now, you know, just to give you a little insight on it, it may be people all around the state of Michigan that comes in, job seekers, but they're registered to that branch. They come there for training, seminars, and all kind of other stuff. So I guess it would be best if the job developer and case manager just work with the people that's registered as a branch. You know.
But what about a job seeker who doesn't go to a physical branch? He just registers online in the PET system.
Well, if they do that, he's still going to have some kind of connection with that. Remember, I think you guys spoke of that. You said, can a job seeker, if the job seeker registers with the specific branch, they still have a connection with them, correct? That's how it's going to be. So they got to talk to them one way or another. You know.
We said that a job seeker has a primary job developer they're associated with.
Okay.
That's what you mean, yeah. So just, I'm pushing back on this. What's the point of putting in a restriction where a job developer can only work with job seekers registered with a branch in terms of trying to find jobs, as opposed to a job developer may be able to place a job seeker in an area that's managed by another branch, but who cares? I mean, what do we gain by that restriction in the system?
Well, this is what one thing you don't want to have, like I said, conflict. A branch or agency, I'm not going to say branch. Branch is one agency. We're going to say a separate agency. That's how they get their funding, you know, of how many job seekers they get employed, because that lets the government know that they're actually doing their job, the government or the funding source. Now, if it's a different branch under an agency, then yeah, they should be able to reach out to another one. I guess that would make sense right there. It's possible. I mean, what do you guys think? I'm asking for your feedback. What do you guys think? Maybe
Can we back up? I'm not clear then what. So I know what an agency is. I know what an address is. It's bricks and mortar, right? What is a branch, as we're using the term here? What exactly does that? Is branch synonymous with agency?
I associated this branch. What I say here, branch is the physical location. So it's Street A, Building 10.
A branch is a part of the body. So say like a tree. You have your main building, and you may have 5 other locations, but it's still the same company. So you might have MetPlus, but you might have 5 other locations. So those are branches. And the agency is MetPlus. So you can call the agency either business or agency of business name, or just the agency. but the branches are the branches of that. They're still tied to that business. So you might have MetPlus over here, and you may have another company over here, the main hub, and they might have several other branches. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so is branch really just synonymous with location then?
Correct.
That's really all it means. Within the same agency, we have 5 locations. It's still the same agency, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So, can we assume? Let me try to write this down. A job seeker, primary job developer, and manager will be assigned based on the branch location. Can we assume that this is it? The relationship that you wanted between the job seeker and the specific branch?
Yes, they're going to be assigned to a branch, so they're still under that company, the entity that they're working for. But whatever location, branch location, same thing, they'll be assigned to that location.
Okay, so basically there will be no restrictions inside inside one agency. There are no restrictions in terms of searching.
No, because
let's say it like this: when you go to a specific branch, there is a job developer there and a case manager, and they are going to be the ones that they are the primary contact for you.
right.
And if you're from the web, oops. How are we going to do this? If you register from the web at your house, they go to a separate place, and then someone, a job developer, look at the address where they are from and assign them to a branch.
If they register through the web, then I guess they would choose. Yeah, I guess they would choose a location closer to them. And so they just register online, but they actually have to go inside to the branch as well. Would that make it a little bit easier?
So something like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Branch location. Yeah.
Okay. So these are the two answers that we're looking for. Basically, the branch location just helps assign the job developer and the case manager that are responsible for that specific job seeker.
Right.
Okay. So, anything else about this question?
So it's like this. Remember, even though they may register and choose the branch they want to be affiliated with, the job seeker, but the system doesn't choose the job developer. The actual manager or management of the company, they will delegate. You know what I mean? Pretty much attach the job seeker to the job developer. Like, okay, we assign them to them. So you're assigned with him or her or something like that. So that's how that will go.
So basically, we choose their branch. We associate the person to that branch, and then internally, the agency will select the job developer and the case manager.
Correct, because if you have a very good job developer that's getting a lot of people jobs, and you're very popular, then you may have a lot of job seekers registering to that branch, you know. And if 100 people register to that one job developer, then it can possibly be overwhelming, or it may not, because of the system. The system's supposed to make it easier to be able to send out multiple resumes at one time. But you know, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. You know what I mean?
Okay. No, I was not thinking in when you register through the web, it'll be directly assigned someone.
Okay.
I was just thinking like put that job seeker into a specific place, and then the job developers will have access to all the job seekers that are there, and then just say, okay, I can be a job developer for this person, or then we'll have a person over them all and that can select them.
Correct. They will assign them. Management will assign.
Yeah. Okay. So we can. I believe we can discuss this particular issue, the specific issue, a little bit in the future, because at this point, in the moment, I think we have the information needed about the way we are going to select the job developers and everything. I think we can do it maybe, not sure if next sprint, but in the sprint after, we will see. Okay?
Okay.
So, okay, so this is now a question. It's more or less the same question, but for the job developers and the case managers. Let's imagine you have a job developer that is in branch A, and for some reason that job developer is moved to branch B of the same agency. What will happen? Will he lose all his contacts, or he will keep his contacts but will be associated just with a new branch?
They built the relationship with them, and they should be able to bring their contacts. I just know some job developers they gotta have their contact first, but if you have their contact as well, you got a good relationship with them from their previous location, then yeah, you should be able to take them over there with you as well. So that makes sense.
So basically, it's just the only difference if you move from a branch A to a branch B is that in the future, the new job seekers that you get are from that branch.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Now, the easy question. A job seeker can have multiple statuses. Okay, it can be employed, unemployed, looking for a job, not looking for a job. Basically, these are the four statuses that we found. Let's call it found for a specific user, for a specific job seeker. Do you think this is these statuses here are enough, or there should be another, or there are any other statuses that the job seeker can be?
Well, unemployed, not looking for a job, definitely shouldn't be there because anybody in the PET system are looking for a job.
Okay.
Whether they're employed or not. So unemployed, actively looking for a job, that's correct. Employed, actively looking for a job, that's also correct. Employed, not looking for a job, that's not, because everybody's in the system looking for a job.
What happens if someone finds a job? You have a job developer a job seeker that was looking for a job. So basically, it was in this state, and then he got a job. So he currently is not looking for a job.
No, remember, kind of like when
okay. My fire alarm is very clear. So. Okay. So I have to leave now. You guys, if any of you can pick this up and continue this thing, so maybe Patrick or someone. Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So
can you
sorry,
keep your
guys.
computer on?
I'm going to save the document here. And I'm leaving now. Okay? Yep. Sorry, guys. You're going to lose all the connection. So you need to read.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
So, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Right.
Yeah. Let me get back to that page that Pio was looking at there. I can. Where was that? There we go. Yeah, so I guess we were on this story here, Chet, or this, excuse me, this question. So the status values we thought would be useful with these four, and you're saying, well, if they're unemployed but they're not looking for a job, then what are they doing in the system?
Correct.
Doesn't make any sense. But the fact is, so we have somebody looking for a job. They're either unemployed and looking, or they're employed and looking for a better job.
Correct.
But eventually, you land them a job,
Right.
a new job or whatever. We don't necessarily. Do we want to just delete them from the system, their resume, their history, or whatever, or do we want to set a status so that they don't cause alerts and things to happen, but their information is still in the system in case they reactivate themselves? They get unemployed and they want to be looking for another job and they don't have to re-enter everything.
Okay.
How would we represent that situation?
Let me see. That makes sense. Let me see. Can you show me that screen again?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me just scroll down there.
Okay, so we have employed, not looking for a job. Okay. Okay, that's possible, and we can explain that to whoever's using the system, what that means. So that makes sense. Now, unemployed, not looking for a job, yeah, you definitely want to leave that out. But also remember, when I sent that brief PowerPoint, I had a client who, remember, I had hired, rejected, or processing too. So those that are hired, it should state that they're hired, especially if we need that for data purposes later, to show how many people got hired. So when we send it to the state of Michigan or to the funders, we actually know who's hired.
Yeah, that'll be another status, a job
That is
application status. It'll
Okay.
be submitted, it'll be under review, it'll be rejected or accepted.
Okay.
And we'll keep track of that status. We'll also keep track of the history, when it was submitted, when the employer said yes or no, etc. We'll have
Okay.
that all history. This kind of status here is just really kind of a global status. And you can think of it like we might use these status values to, say, turn off alerts. For instance, if we have somebody who's employed, not looking for a job, so let's say you guys find them a job, you want to keep their information systems. So they go, this is kind of an inactive status. They're not doing anything. And so no alerts happen. If they're inactive, they don't log in for 3 months, you don't get an alert because we use this status to say we're not going to alert to this job seeker because what's the point? They have a job.
Right.
And then also, you might think that, well, gee, I'd rather prioritize alerts from the unemployed people who are looking for a job as opposed to employed people who are just looking for a better job. You know, these status values may drive that kind of system behavior. We haven't figured it out yet, but that's kind of what we're thinking about here. Yeah. Okay, so we'll strike that second one, and we'll keep these other three then.
Okay, that makes sense.
I guess the other thing for this level of status we're talking about, do you think that these three are all we're going to need? The reason is that if you may think that you want a fourth or a fifth or a sixth, or another agency may want to customize these, then we have to create a database table to hold these statuses.
Okay.
if they're fixed, if this is the three statuses and this is how they're going to be worded, then we can just kind of what we'd call hard code them in, which is easier for us. Hard code means, you know, it doesn't change. If it does change, we have to go in and we have to actually open the code and make software changes. If we didn't